So hi, this is Dr. Jim Anderson, and I'm here to talk to you about neuropathy and restless legs and why you can have a bit of both, and it gets very confusing for many of you that have restless legs. And I hear these questions quite often. Well, I know I've got restless legs because I have to get up at night, move around, and doctor put me on medication for restless legs. But I've also got numbness. I've got some burning in my feet. I've got tingling in my feet. Maybe my feet are really hot all the time, or maybe they're really cold all the time. So those symptoms kind of correlate over here with neuropathy. And I think it's important that you understand that there's a big overlap between the two. In fact, if you were to look up publications and research about neuropathy, you'll find that some papers will say that up to or over 50% of people that have neuropathy will also have symptoms of restless legs. And I don't think that's any coincidence, because I think the source of the problem for most of these patients is the same thing. And I have another video called The One Thing. So what is that one thing? It's the fact that for many people, tightness of nerve tunnels, kind of like carpal tunnel, can be the source of the symptoms of both restless legs and neuropathy. So I don't think it's coincidental. And I want to hopefully create some clarity in your minds as to why this is going on. So when you come in to see us, I want to make sure you understand. I'll show you something here. This is a little brochure, or I should say a folder, and within it we have research that we published. Now, this isn't all my research or all of my papers, but it's got what I feel are the two principal ones that are really important, and the second one's coming out in regards to diabetic neuropathy. So, but there's one paper in here on diabetic neuropathy, and it pretty much talks about how we do intraoperative nerve monitoring, and it's the first paper ever published on intraoperative nerve monitoring, showing that before a tunnel is open compared to after the tunnel is open, there's vast improvement of nerve function of the muscle by doing intraoperative EMG. Okay, there's another paper in here that is published in Frontiers in Neurology, and you can go online to see this, and it's nerve decompression and restless legs for restless leg syndrome, a retrospective analysis, and there it is right there. And this might be really good for you to look up, because some of you like data, and this has quite a bit of data in it. And if you go to page 3, I'm going to draw your attention to this. It may not be easy to see, but I'm going to give you the basic principles of this graph. So this is showing statistically, and this is very valid, it's a very valid third-party analyzed bit of data here to show the significant improvement of these patients. We had over 40 patients in this study, and all of them had various nerve tunnels decompressed, kind of like carpal tunnel surgery in the lower extremity. They had this performed, and all these symptoms, there's about 15 of these symptoms. Over here on this side are all the symptoms that correlate more with neuropathy, and over on this side are all the symptoms that correlate with restless legs. The vertical axis going up here indicates the severity of their symptoms. So the higher these bars go, the more severe the symptoms. And if you look at the dark bars, those black bars are the patient's symptoms before surgery, and then before the decompression surgery, and then the whiter colored bars, which are lower in every single instance, those bars indicate the symptoms after surgical decompression of these nerve tunnels. So a very important graph to show you, to demonstrate the actual fact that we're able to reverse these symptoms. And again, the first paper, this is the first paper ever showing that surgical decompression can be a useful option for people, especially those of you with severe restless legs. So again, the two principles to draw from this is it's helping people both with the burning, tingling, numbness, tingling, things like that, and the neuropathy side, but also the pulling, the uneasiness, the jerking, over here on the restless leg side. So just wanted to share that with you. And again, when we have a second paper actually that we're working on right now, we're finalizing it, and we got all the data collected, so that hopefully in the next couple months that will be submitted for publication on restless legs. So I hope that's informative so that you understand there's an overlap between the two. And as time kind of goes down the road, and it seems as though we're seeing more people that just purely have restless legs more than they have the neuropathy. And so I want you to leave you with a couple of thoughts that understand that because of this overlap, people might have maybe 90% neuropathy and 10% restless legs, or it could be just the opposite, or it could be 50-50. And so, but as time goes on, it seems, because we've become known for what we do for restless legs, that more and more of you are coming in, and maybe you have 90% restless legs and 10% neuropathy. Well, what happens when we do our treatments, and some of these are non-surgical, but most of the time it can be surgical, these patients come out of this and they go, my gosh, my restless legs, they're awesome. My restless legs are 95% gone. I'm off my Maripex or my Rapinol. They're off their medication. And then they may say, you know what? I realize now I had some numbness, I had some burning, and you know what? That's better too. So that's something to understand, that your restless leg symptoms, I think, tend to overpower the neuropathy symptoms in many cases. So the restless leg symptoms, I call it, they mute your neuropathy symptoms. And we can't explain exactly why, but I see that quite often. So I hope this was interesting content for you. And I understand there's a book that I wrote. It's an Amazon bestseller called A Perfect Night's Sleep. That's something else that you could do, is to learn more about this. It takes you through the progression of kind of how you have to think through this process. And it helps explain to you too why a podiatrist, of all people, why in the world is a podiatrist helping people with restless legs? And the simple answer, the short version, is simply that, you know, I'm a foot and ankle specialist. And guess what, guys? These nerves, what do? They affect everything in the foot and ankle. So that's where the problem starts. It's like the patients come in with that, and these nerves are a issue in foot and ankle. They are the ones that supply the muscle, supply the skin, supply everything down there. So it really makes sense if you were to learn my story, which is a whole nother video. So anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch. And please comment. We love to have comments from you. And appreciate you watching again. And please click on that subscribe button. Thank you.